Hello, this is Hans Frolingsdorf, KI0GU, San Jose, California. I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about a new radio I just picked up, a new old radio I just picked up about 2 weeks ago. It's the Tentec Orion II, and I wanted to do a little bit of a review on this radio, talk a little bit about the features I like about it, and hopefully help some folks out online that maybe are thinking about this radio. Some things to be considered when you're purchasing Tentec products. The company has switched hands a couple times now, but it does appear that things are stabilized, and they're even considering the possibility of releasing some newer model radios this year, perhaps at the Ham Fest in Ohio, the Dayton Ham Fest. So it's yet to be seen. But I did have an email correspondence with one of the support reps there before I purchased this radio because I was concerned with the situation that they had currently at Tentec, and I wanted to make sure that I could get my radio serviced if I needed to. And they reassured me that yes, the Tentec Orion II is still serviced, everything on it with the exception of the logic board, of which they can no longer get. However, upon joining the Yahoo group for Tentec, they reassured me that there are folks that can help repair it and even source the chips that are used on that logic board. So here's hoping things will go well with this radio. So far I really like it. It's a good radio, and so with that, let's get down and talk a little bit about it, and let's show you what it's all about. So here it is in all of its beauty, the Tentec Orion II, a very nice radio that was sold many years ago. In the day, it was a $4,000 radio with all the filters in it. This particular radio does have all of the roofing filters installed in it currently, and it has a very good sounding audio to it. So show you a little bit about it. Obviously the main display here of the radio is actually really nice, attractive. The feel of the knobs, very, very smooth. You can adjust the drag of each one of the knobs on this radio to your liking, however you like it. This radio by default comes with two separate receivers in it, two standalone receivers. So if you like to chase DX and you're doing split, you want to find out where where the stations that are calling are. You can set up the VFOs independently however you would like to be able to listen to that. It does split the speaker out as well, the headphones. So if you're wearing headphones in here, you can have the main audio on the left side, left headphone, and the second receiver audio in the right hand side. Very similar to the way the FT1000 has theirs set up, and which I have had a FT1000 and like to actually regret getting rid of my FT1000D. But at any rate, this is the radio that I've chosen now, based on the research I've done and a little bit of the playing I've done. It's just been a fantastic radio. The audio quality is superb. I'd put it up against any of the radios I've actually owned, and I've owned quite a few radios. I've had the Yaesu FTDX 3000, I've obviously had the 1000, I've had several Yaesu radios, the 950, which was a very nice radio, had good sounding audio, and then in the ICOM line I've had the IC7000 for mobile use, and then the IC756 Pro 3, which again with the waterfall display was really nice. Some things I can comment about on this particular radio, now that we're talking about the 756 Pro and its waterfall display. The Orion Tentec II's band scope down here is just okay. It's not as responsive as, say, the 756 Pro 3. It's going to show you if you've got signals up and down the band up to, I believe it's 70 kc. Let me just check really quick here on that. 72 kilohertz. So you get 72 kilohertz from center on there, which it's currently set to right now. So you get you split that difference up and down, and you can see what's on the band, and you can narrow that in if you want to. However, unlike the Pro 3, it's not as responsive. So you know, I could actually tune around like this, and I'm currently on 100 kilohertz steps. I'm going to change that to 10. Go back in there again. Put that at 10. And so it doesn't track changes really fast, as you can see. So it's, let me zoom in on that a little bit for you so you can see better here. So if your purpose is to get this for the band scope, it's just okay at best. It's going to get you started on, you know, using a band scope. Let you see signals up and down the band, but that's about it. And it's, again, it's easy enough to turn off too. You can pretty much customize this radio however you want. It's really a software-defined radio here in a box, but by hitting the sweep, I can actually turn that off completely, and I'm not distracted by that. But I do actually, now that I've been using a band scope for a while, I have been able to. I happen to like it when I'm on a QSO or rag chewing here, and I happen to notice something pop up. You know, let's say 20 kc up or down. I can zoom in on it and listen to it, which is kind of a nice feature. So once you've used a band scope, it's hard to go back. Another nice thing about this particular radio too is because there's so many folks out there that are using this radio and have been for a number of years. There's pan adapter modifications you can do this, so you can tap into the IF on the subreceiver and display the pan adapter on a computer, and then you get your point and click on a nice big display like you would with other rigs out there, and I've heard that works really well. I don't know if I'll use that feature with this, but we'll see. So let's kind of tune around a little bit, let you see a little bit of how it works, let you listen to it. The conditions aren't really good right now. We're at bottom of the sunspot cycle, solar cycle 24, and conditions on 20 meters has been just okay during the day, nothing like it was a couple years ago. But we still do have some activity, and hopefully we can tune into that today. So we're on 20 meters right now. And I'm going to note here how I have this radio set up. I've currently got the audio set up in their suggested configuration, where I'm using the RF gain for the volume. So I set my volume, my main volume right now. I'm on the main receiver, so you've got, I'm sorry, the main VFO. So you've got two VFOs here, your primary VFO or VFOA, and your secondary VFO or VFOB. In my primary VFO, you can see here this little line, this little blue line indicates, and I'm going to zoom in on that so you can see a little bit better. That blue line right here indicates the primary AF volume, or the AF level of the radio. So I can change that up and down here by moving the main AF knob. I can also mute that if I want to by just pushing that knob in. Now there's absolutely no audio on that VFO. And the same thing with the VFOB. Same thing here. I currently have it muted, but by just pushing it again, I now have audio in there. So I will unmute the primary VFO, and like I said, I'm actually using RF gain for my audio control. So kind of set the AF to about half scale, and then my RF gain, which is indicated right here, is at 52. If I turn that up, of course I'm dropping my or raising my RF gain, so you're getting more of the volume. The nice thing about that is it gives you a really quiet, I don't want to call it a noise floor, but you get a much more distinguishable signals 9 out of 10 times. And this is a new concept for me. I've never tried it with any other radios. And so at first I didn't really like it, but the more I listen to it, especially if I'm using my headphones, I notice that it's not as tiring to listen to. So using the RF gain versus the AF to adjust the audio is really, for me, is the way I like to do it. So we're on 20 meters right now. We're actually on CW on 14269. I'm going to change that mode to upper sideband by pushing the mode button, and then here you can see all the different modes: upper sideband, lower sideband, and then we got both upper and lower CW, AM, FM, and then FSK. So I'm going to change this to upper sideband, and then we're going to actually adjust our bandwidth, which is done. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see everything here. I'm going to adjust the bandwidth right now, which is currently set to 2600. So we can open that all the way up. The radio's got a really, and you can actually see your filtering right here, as well as you get a number representation. You're also getting a physical representation of the filtering on here, as well as the bandwidth. So we can go clear up to, I believe it's some ridiculous amount. Yeah, well, in 9,000. So you get 9,000 to the bandwidth. That's just ridiculous for upper sideband. So we're going to drop that back down, and we're going to take that to about, I like it between 2,100 and 3,000. So we're going to take that down. How about we just take it to 3? There. Alright, and we can hear we got some signals here. So let's tune around and see if we can get a station.
I'm not sure if you went the 7Gs, but we'll try it.
14268. That sounds like we might have some DX here.
Okay, nothing heard with Julian. And I think I believe he went 72. Okay, we're on the bottom of our list here. W7, WND.
Okay, so we'll play around a little bit with the bandwidth on this station. Wait till someone's talking.
Mike was on the portable, I mean not portable, but mobile there.
And you can see when you narrow down that bandwidth, how it changes the quality of the audio.
We got, 35 seconds. That is something else.
And I'm going to mute the primary just a minute to talk a little bit about this. So if you can see here, on the representation of this VFO, you've got a little box, and then you've got a line on top of it. The line on top represents the roofing filters that are actually used for the particular band you're on. So or the frequency bandwidth. And so I'm currently at 2430, and you can see I've got a very wide line on the top. It's using a very wide a roofing filter. So if I change that bandwidth and go down, so I'm going down now, there I hit 2380, and you see the roofing filter, or that line went back in. It's a representation showing you that it's now using another roofing filter. Again, a really nice feature of this radio is all the roofing filters that it has, and the filtering in general is really good. So in the menu here, I can show you when you have all of the optional filters installed in this radio, you do need to enable them in the menu. So by going into filter, it shows here crystal filter is set to auto right now, and I leave it at auto. I let the radio decide which roofing filter it's going to put in based on the bandwidth I'm at the time. Enable the 1.8 kilohertz roofing filter. Yes, that's installed, so I selected yes. The 600 hertz, yes. The 600 hertz CF adjust and the 300 hertz CF adjust are for adjusting the center frequency of your roofing filters, which I have not done. They highly recommend doing that. I have not done that yet. That's something I'm planning on doing. But I do have the 600 kilohertz and the 300 600 hertz and 300 hertz roofing filters in here. And then you can also adjust your DSP filter length, which again I have not done that either. So, but we'll go back here again, and so again, playing with the bandwidth, you can see as I go down in frequency, in bandwidth rather, I don't want to say frequency, in bandwidth, you'll see how different roofing filters are chosen. So 2000, I'm going down a little bit more. It should switch here again at 17, yeah, okay, so 1830, and I'm going down 1770. There, it's chosen another roofing filter. Roofing filters are really nice when you're in crowded band conditions or contests. And let's just say there's a weak signal in there. You want to be able to pull out a weak signal, potentially next to a strong signal. That's where the roofing filters are really nice. Sherwood did a write-up of this radio, a review, that puts it up in the top, I'd say the top 5% of all amateur radios, high quality receivers on the market today. Even still today, as this radio is old, it still has a really good filtering capabilities, and it puts it up there in the top class with all the rest of them. So we're going to unmute this again, and let's tune around a little bit and see what we got. I'm going to bring my bandwidth back up. We're around 3. All right, let's tune around. You see we got a signal coming in here. Maybe what we'll do is we'll change our steps to 100. And again, I like the layout, the aesthetics. Everything is right here on the front. This radio is very easy to use. For people that don't like going deep into menus, this radio does not have that problem. It is super, super nice. Everything's at your fingertip. To me, it makes sense. A lot of people complain about, well, you know, some stuff is easier to get to than the others. So coming from a the KI0GU FT950 to this, no comparison. This radio has everything up front where the 950 had it deep buried in menus. For instance, like my noise reduction is right there. So by just pushing it, I've enabled it. Now I push it again, I now have automatic noise reduction. And this noise reduction system is a numbered system from 1 all the way up to 9. 9 being the most aggressive, and 1 obviously being the least amount. Doing some reading in the manual and talking to others and watching videos, when you come across a signal and you got a lot of band noise, they recommend starting out at between a 3 and a 4. What it does then is, based on the received signal, it will construct a filter for that, and it locks it in place. So you don't want to just sit there and keep turning it up and down, because every time you've done it, you've reset that filter, and it's got to relearn that signal to lock it in. It works really well, but it does take a little bit of time and patience to use it. So anyway, so that's the noise reduction. The noise blanker, you've got enable that. You've got 2 noise blankers. You've got a DSP noise blanker and a hardware noise blanker. The way you enable the hardware noise blanker is you just hold it down, and then you'll see off on the left. The number on the left, or the indication on the left, is for the DSP noise reduction, or I'm sorry, the noise blanker. The number to the right of the colon is for the hardware. And you can see the H on. I now have the hardware noise blanker on. To turn on, you can use a combination of both. I can actually push that again. Now you see a 1:H, 1 indicating that we have the DSP noise blanker at an aggressivity level of 1. It goes all the way up to 9 again, and down. I haven't had a lot of time to actually play with the DSP noise blanker, but I can tell you that the hardware noise blanker works very well, and I've been very pleased with it. Over here we've got our notch filter. By pushing that, push it once, you can adjust several the way you want that notch filter to look. Haven't played too much with this, but again, your filtering is pretty endless on this radio. And then you've got an auto notch. So when you get a tuner upper right next to you, and it's really annoying when that happens, you come over here, you just hit it. Again, you can set the aggressive level from all the way to 1 to 9. 1 has been very good, and it's worked fantastic for me. Every time I get a tuner upper, someone you hear a carrier, boom, it comes on, and I will actually show an example of that here in a little bit. Let's carry on and continue tuning around, listening for signal. 230, there's our slow scan TV guys. Okay, you can hear a little bit of a carrier on this gentleman's signal.
I just made a slight adjustment here up in Wisconsin. I'm about 60 plus degrees off of true north.
And he turned it over to the other station, of course, so we're not going to get a good chance to hear it. So you see how he picked up right away when I enabled the noise reduction? You heard all the background noise. Obviously, he's down there in the noise floor, but you can hear how his signal popped right out. So another thing I got to mention while I'm on this too is, you know, audio aesthetics are different for everybody, and this radio really gives you the ability to tailor exactly how that audio is going to sound for you. Some people like a little more treble, some people like a little more bass. You know, without actually playing with the pass band and, you know, shifting the pass band around a little bit to get that, you can actually do it other ways as well. So that's one way to change the audio, the treble versus the bass. You can also hit the audio button here, which will present you with all different types of audio adjustments for this radio. Down here we've got a receive EQ down here, and we can actually change and give it more bass or turn it up for a negative number to get some more of that treble if you like that treble. And you can actually, you know, I generally leave it right around 2 seems to be good, 2 to 3 I've found. Again, you tailor this really for your need. This could be depending on if you're using headphones or an external speaker, or maybe you're piping it through your computer input and listening to it on your computer speakers. It's going to be different for every situation, everyone's ears and what they like. I like this radio and the fact that I can make this audio sound pretty much exactly the way I want it to, and it's very flexible. Again, something that's usually only available in your higher end radios. Okay, so we heard him with the noise reduction. We'll take it off here and you can see the comparison. And there, the noise reduction's off now, and you can see you hear a lot more white noise because the the noise has come up on the floor. So we'll try it again. We'll give you a before and after. Get a little more aggressive with our noise reduction.
I'm running about 1,250 watts right now, about 1,250. The antenna is a big array. It's a stack of 3 elements. Tower. If you go to my store, I think you might be take pictures of it.
We'll change our bandwidth down a little bit. See, we're down to 2800 now.
good morning. Thank you very much for coming back. Please copy 59 Michigan. Mike India, over.
So what did you think about that?
Copy 59 Michigan. Sorry, I can hear your prefix again. Whiskey Bravo 8. DE7 WFK, are you still there? Roger. Your call again, please. That you can correct on your call again.
Turn on the preamp.
Whiskey Bravo 8, Whiskey Kilo, Quebec. Okay, thank you. I don't really know what the exchange is. I'm just turning the radio on for the first time today. I guess I'll give you a 59 number 1. Okay, I need your federal electoral district, over. Okay, Caribou North. If you keep calling on the frequency, I'll come back to you in a minute with the proper name. Okay, that's probably all I need. I should look at the list, but that sounds very familiar, and I can figure it out from there. Thank you so much for the contact, and good luck in the contest if you start participating. It's a lot of fun, over. I have that kind of noise. I have that kind of electrical noise, so you're pretty much the only station breaking the S9 barrier. Okay, 73, and have a great day. Thank you so much for coming back to me. QRZ British Columbia. QRZ British Columbia for the British Columbia QSO party, looking for any stations in British Columbia. This is Whiskey Bravo 8, Whiskey Kilo, Quebec. Whiskey Bravo.
So as you can see, you can really tailor this audio exactly how you like it. I have found sideband listening, and I do a lot of listening when I'm on my radio, a lot more than I do actually transmitting, but it's very pleasing to listen to. So let's compare it to my last radio, which was the 756 Pro 3. A fine radio. I really had very little to complain about. However, what I can tell you is the audio output on that radio was not as pleasing to listen to. I couldn't sit here all day and just enjoy listening to that radio on sideband. There was a certain ring to the audio, and that didn't seem to matter whether I was using the internal speaker or the external speaker on that radio. I could not get the